Ladies and gentlemen, today I come before you with a message that speaks not only to the body, but to the soul. We are living in a time when the pace of life has quickened. Stress has crept into every corner of our daily routine, and our health, our God-given vessel, is often the first thing we neglect. But let me tell you, there is a purpose in every heartbeat, a mission in every breath you take, and we are called not just to exist, but to thrive. Physical fitness is not just about muscle and movement. It's about honoring the life we've been given. It's about showing up each day with strength in our limbs and clarity in our minds so we can fulfill the duties placed before us with energy and conviction. This body you have, it is a gift. And with that gift comes responsibility. Not just for your sake, but for your loved ones, your community, and every life you touch. You weren't made to sit idle, to live in fatigue, or to drag your feet through life. No, you were made to rise, to stand tall, to move forward with power and purpose. And that starts with taking care of the one thing you carry with you every single day, your body. So let us open our hearts today to a renewed commitment, not just to fitness, but to the life that fitness makes possible. When we talk about success, most people look first to talent, to opportunity, to education, or even to luck. They see the finish line and try to run toward it without first preparing for the race. But let me ask you, how can a man reach the mountaintop if his legs are too weak to climb? How can a woman chase her dreams if her body is too burdened to carry her forward? You see, the foundation of success is not built on wishful thinking. It is built on strength, on endurance, on discipline, and all of that begins with physical fitness. You were created with a purpose, and deep inside of you is potential that has yet to be fully realized. But potential, my friends, is not enough. It must be nurtured. It must be fueled. And what fuels your potential more powerfully than a body that is healthy, strong, and energized? When your body is tired, your mind begins to doubt. When your body is weak, your spirit struggles to stand firm. But when you take care of your body, when you exercise, when you nourish it with good food, when you rest and rise with consistency, you begin to unlock something within you that was always meant to shine. You begin to feel what it's like to live fully, not halfway. To wake up not in dread, but with fire in your bones and purpose in your heart. The path to success is not easy. It demands long hours, hard choices, and the ability to persevere through trials. If your body is not ready for that journey, you will stumble more than you stride. But when your body is fit, when your muscles are trained and your heart is strong, you don't just face challenges, you embrace them. You say, I am ready. I was built for this. Fitness teaches more than physical strength. It teaches discipline. You learn to rise early when the bed begs you to stay. You learn to push through discomfort, to keep going when everything in you says stop. And that kind of training, that kind of mindset, it spills over into every part of your life. It prepares you for the business world, for relationships, for leadership. It sharpens your focus, heightens your awareness, and gives you the stamina to keep going when others quit. Too many people want the reward without the work. They want the victory without the fight. But I say to you today, success is not handed to you, it is earned. It is sweat on your brow, calluses on your hands, and lungs that have learned to breathe through the storms. It is the quiet discipline of early mornings, of choosing water instead of soda, of walking instead of sitting. It is found in the daily choices that seem small, but add up to something mighty. And it's not just about your goals, it's about the people around you. A strong body helps you to serve others better. It gives you the energy to play with your children, to care for your aging parents, to show up for your community with a full heart and an able body. It's not about vanity, it's about vitality. It's not about perfection, it's about preparation. Being prepared for the life you are meant to lead. Let me tell you something else. When your body is healthy, your mind becomes clearer, your emotions settle, your decisions improve. You think faster, speak more confidently, and live more fully. Anxiety begins to loosen its grip. Depression starts to lose its shadow. There's a light that comes into your life when you begin to move, when you begin to stretch, when you begin to breathe deeply and take control of your health. And yes, there will be days when you want to give up, days when you feel like the mountain is too high, when the weights are too heavy, when the progress is too slow, but those are the moments that make you. Because every step you take, every drop of sweat, every breath that burns in your chest, it is not just changing your body, it is shaping your future. You are becoming someone who does not quit, who does not back down, who does not let comfort steal greatness. You don't need a gym full of mirrors or a shelf full of trophies. You need a willing heart and a body that you refuse to let go to waste. You need to look in the mirror and see not just what you are, but what you can be. And then you get to work. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because this world needs people who are alive, truly alive, people who are ready to carry their calling, people who can run toward their purpose without being winded by life. The world needs you at your best. Your family needs you strong. Your future needs you prepared. And it all begins with the choice to take care of the one body you've been given. So rise up, lace your shoes, stretch your limbs, feed your body with good things. Rest it when it's weary, move it when it's idle, because when you do, you're not just changing your health, you're building the foundation for every dream, every mission, every step forward you will ever take. And that, my friends, is how you fuel your potential. That is how fitness becomes the foundation of success. The truth written not just in science, but in the soul of every man and woman alive. That the body and mind are not separate, but deeply connected. You cannot neglect one and expect the other to thrive. You cannot poison the body and expect clarity in thought. You cannot live in exhaustion and expect your spirit to rise. The road to a strong mind begins with a strong body. And it's time we begin to see fitness not just as something physical, but as a powerful force that shapes who we are from the inside out. There are times in life when the burdens of the mind become too heavy to bear. Anxiety creeps in, depression clouds the light, stress wraps its fingers around our thoughts until we can't even hear our own voice. But I tell you this, before you turn to pills, before you turn to screens, before you surrender to the weight, take a look at how you are treating the temple you live in. This body, this vessel you've been given, it holds more influence over your peace than you realize. When you begin to move your body, you begin to break chains. When you sweat, you release more than just toxins. You release fear, tension, doubt. The rhythm of your footsteps, the lifting of weight, the breath that burns in your chest, it all begins to carve a path through the mental fog. You find strength not just in your muscles, but in your thoughts. You begin to believe again. You begin to hope again. You see, the mind thrives on movement. When the body is active, the brain awakens. The chemicals that bring joy, peace, and focus, they don't come from a bottle. They come from the inside, waiting to be released through action. That's the miracle of how we're made. You were created with the ability to heal, to overcome, to rise. And fitness is one of the greatest tools to unlock that power. It's in the early mornings when you rise and run, the clarity begins to return. It's in the push-ups and the miles and the sweat that your mind starts to let go of the chaos. You stop thinking only of your problems and you start realizing your power. Fitness teaches you focus. It teaches you discipline. And most of all, it teaches you that you can do hard things, not just on the track or in the gym, but in life. When your body is weak, the mind often falters. Simple tasks feel overwhelming. Small problems feel like disasters. But when your body is strong, your mind becomes a fortress. You think clearer. You react slower. You endure longer. You don't let emotion drive every decision because you've already trained yourself to push through discomfort. That's what fitness does. It forges resilience. It builds a mindset that says, I've been through fire and I'm still standing. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to run marathons. But you do have to care. You have to choose to move, even when it's hard. You have to choose to rise, even when your heart is heavy. Because every step you take, every time you stretch or lift or press on, you are sending a message to your mind that you are not giving up. Let me remind you, fitness is not vanity. It's not about how the world sees you. It's about how you see yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, I am taking care of myself because I am worth it. I have a calling. I have people who depend on me. I have a life to live. And I refuse to live it in chains. When your body begins to strengthen, your thoughts begin to align with courage, with hope, with light. Physical fitness also brings structure. And in a world of chaos, structure is a lifeline. When you make time to train your body, you are setting your day with intention. You are telling your mind, I am in control. I am choosing to act, not to react. And when life comes at you with storms, and it will, you've already built the habit of standing firm. There is power in the discipline of movement, power in the ability to control your breathing when your heart is racing, power in the decision to keep going when your muscles scream to stop. These moments of physical endurance spill over into every trial you face in life. Suddenly, the tough conversation doesn't scare you. The job interview doesn't shake you. The loss doesn't destroy you, because you've trained your mind in the arena of the body, and now it stands with the strength you've built, one workout at a time. Do not wait for a crisis to take your health seriously. Do not wait until your mind breaks before you begin to heal. Start now, start small, but start. Walk, stretch, breathe deep, lift something heavier than yesterday. Show up for yourself before the world ever sees the change. Because the moment you begin to train your body, you are also beginning to train your mind. And that mind, once sharpened by strength, can face anything. You were not made for fear. You were not made to live defeated. You were made to rise, to lead, to shine. There comes a moment in every life when we are faced with a choice. Not a loud, dramatic decision, but a quiet, consistent one. It's the choice of how we treat our time, how we treat our health, and whether we will simply go through the motions or step into the fullness of the life we were meant to live. And nowhere is that choice clearer than in the realm of physical fitness. Because for too many people, fitness is a routine, something they try when the mirror frightens them or the doctor warns them. But let me tell you, it was never meant to be a short-term fix. It was meant to be a way of life. We are not called to live in spurts of motivation. We are not built to chase after change for a week, then slide back into old patterns. True transformation does not come from a moment of inspiration. It comes from daily dedication, from consistency, from a lifestyle built on the truth that our health is not a luxury, it is a necessity. Routine is something you do because you feel you have to. Lifestyle is something you embrace because you know it gives you life. And when you move from seeing fitness as a task to seeing it as a calling, everything changes. You stop asking, do I have time to work out today? And you start declaring, I make time because my future depends on it. Okay. You see, when fitness becomes your lifestyle, it is no longer a question of convenience. It becomes part of who you are. Just like brushing your teeth, just like eating, just like sleeping, you do it because it keeps you whole. It keeps you strong. It keeps you ready for the battles life will bring. And make no mistake, life will bring battles. There will be days when sorrow visits your doorstep. There will be seasons when your strength is tested, when responsibilities are heavy, and when the world tries to pull you into despair. But if you have built a lifestyle of fitness, you will not crumble. You will rise. Because you have already trained your body to move, your mind to focus, your will to endure. Fitness becomes your preparation, your shield, your daily armor. Now some say, I'm too busy, I've got children, I've got work, I've got no time for push-ups and sit-ups and long walks. But let me say this with love and truth, you cannot afford not to make time. Your health is not separate from your calling. It is the very vessel through which your calling flows. A tired, aching, broken down body cannot serve fully. A sluggish mind cannot lead with clarity. And if you're waiting for more free time to get fit, you may be waiting your whole life. You don't need hours in the gym. You need intention in your day. You need to move with purpose, eat with wisdom, rest with discipline. You need to build patterns that serve your body and soul. Start with 10 minutes. Start with a walk. Start by replacing the soda with water, the excuses with effort, and then do it again tomorrow and the day after, until it becomes part of you. Because the greatest strength is not found in a single act of willpower, it is found in the quiet, faithful repetition of good choices. It's waking up and choosing to stretch. It's saying no to the third helping. It's putting the phone down and going outside. These small acts may seem insignificant, but they stack up, they compound. And soon you look back and realize that what used to be a struggle has become second nature. There is joy in that kind of life. There is peace in knowing that you are stewarding your body well, that you are not wasting the gift you've been given. And that joy ripples outward. It touches your children who learn to value their health. It strengthens your marriage, your work, your energy. It blesses the people around you because you are not running on empty. You are filled with vitality. And do not think this path is for the young alone, no matter your age, your background, or your past choices. Today is the right day to start. You may have lived years without prioritizing fitness. You may have stumbled, fallen, gained weight, lost confidence, but none of that disqualifies you. In fact, it qualifies you even more because you know the cost of neglect. You know how it feels to be winded by stairs, to feel your clothes tighten, to look in the mirror and see not strength but struggle. And that knowing can become the fuel that drives you forward. You were made to be strong, not just for vanity's sake, but for the life you're called to live, for the purpose you carry, for the people who depend on you. And when you make fitness a lifestyle, you are saying yes to that purpose every single day. So rise early, set the alarm, lay out your shoes, make it easier to choose right. And when it gets hard, and it will, remember why you started. Not for numbers on a scale, not for the approval of others, but because your life matters. Your health matters. There is a battle that each of us must face, a battle not against flesh and blood, but against the limits that have been placed on us and those we have placed on ourselves. Limits of fear, limits of weakness, limits of doubt. And one of the greatest tools we have to break those chains and rise above the ceiling is physical fitness. Because fitness is more than exercise, it is a training ground for resilience. It is where you go to test your will, to stretch your endurance, and to prove to yourself that you are not as fragile as the world would have you believe. When you begin to train your body, you are not just shaping muscles, you are building something deeper, something eternal. You are forging character. You are developing the spirit of perseverance. You are learning to keep going when everything in you says stop. And that, my friend, is where resilience is born. Resilience does not come easy. It does not come by accident. It is not handed to you through comfort or ease. It is earned in the moments of pain, in the struggle, in the sweat and effort and fatigue. When your lungs burn and your legs shake and your heart pounds like a drum, that is the moment where you choose to keep moving. That is the moment where you break the barrier of what you thought was possible. And once you break that barrier in the gym, on the trail, in the field, you begin to realize you can break barriers in life. Life will press you. There will be nights of sorrow and days of disappointment. There will be moments when everything feels too heavy, when the storms come and the winds howl. But if you have trained yourself to endure, if you have faced resistance on purpose and come through it, then you will not break. Every push-up, every sprint, every weight lifted is a declaration: I am not quitting. I am not giving in. I will rise again. And that habit of not quitting becomes your armor. It becomes your answer to failure. It becomes your response when you are knocked down. Because you have learned through fitness that your limits are not fixed. They are flexible. They can be pushed. They can be redefined. You see, most people live within invisible walls. They say, I can't run. I can't lift. I can't lose the weight. I can't change. But fitness teaches you a better truth. It shows you day by day that you can. It may take time, it may take pain, but the wall will fall if you keep pressing against it. And once you've seen one wall fall, you'll never look at the next one the same way again. And resilience isn't just physical, it becomes mental, emotional, spiritual. The same strength that helps you run an extra mile is the strength that helps you hold your tongue in anger. The same grit that gets you through a workout helps you persevere through a tough season of life. You build resolve in one area, and it multiplies in every direction. Fitness is the proving ground where you learn who you really are and what you're truly capable of. We live in a culture that tells you to take the easy path, to avoid pain, to choose comfort. But nothing of lasting value comes from comfort alone. Diamonds are made under pressure. Trees sink their roots deep through the storms. And men and women of character are built through trial. Physical fitness is one of the few areas in life where you can choose your trial, where you can place yourself under pressure and say, I will not fold. I will grow. You don't need a fancy gym or perfect equipment. You need a decision. You need a reason to start. You need the will to keep showing up. And when you do, something begins to happen. You begin to believe in yourself, not because someone told you to, but because you've proven it to yourself. You've seen the results. You've felt the transformation. You've learned to push past limits, and that confidence cannot be bought or borrowed. And let me tell you, others will notice. Not just the change in your physique, but the change in your spirit. You'll walk taller. You'll speak clearer. You'll handle adversity with calm. Why? Because you've been in the fire. You've trained for this. You've prepared your body, your mind, and your heart. And that preparation becomes your strength when the world shakes. This is not about chasing perfection. It's about becoming stronger than your excuses. It's about showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It's about choosing growth over comfort, commitment over convenience. Because every time you do, you are rising above the limitations that once held you down.